If you've ever been knocked off your feet, devastated financially, or had a life-threatening diagnosis like cancer, then there is a little bit of hope, perhaps, in a book written by Bunny Terry. The book is called Life-Saving Gratitude, How Gratitude Helped Me Beat Stage 4 Cancer. Welcome, Bunny. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
So gratitude is something that seems so simple, yet it is very effective, right?
You know, there is a backstory here. When I wrote, the entire book is written from the moment that I was diagnosed. I always write 1,000 words a day, so it was really my journal. And I didn't know that the story was about gratitude until I went back and decided to turn it into something that I could publish. And I realized that every day I had this gratitude practice that was a little, it seemed like rote to me. It was the way I was raised, and it was something my dad kept reminding me of. My dad, who's 90 this week, kept reminding me of when I was sick. And so it became a book about gratitude. I thought it was going to be a book about, I got really ugly dumped and I didn't have any money, and then I got cancer, and wow, wasn't that awful? But I found out that it really was a book about gratitude, and that practice helped me, along with medicine and some really good oncologist and a surgery, helped me to get well. It was such a big piece.
Yeah, I found it interesting that you mentioned your dad, because he said his life is so good that he thinks there's two of them, right, or something to that effect.
His every day, and my dad was a poor dirt farmer. We never had any money as a child. And I would say, people would say, "How are you doing?" And he would say, "If I was any better, I'd have to be two people." And it's not a bad motto. And I will tell you that even in the middle of having stage 4 cancer and afterwards, there are sort of ongoing health issues. And what I've discovered is that gratitude sometimes doesn't change your situation, but it really changes you. It really changed me and the way that I dealt with both the cancer and some of the after effects. So it was a surprise to me, but wow, what an invaluable tool.
So in your book, you talk about this, but it seems to me that so many of us are just ungrateful people. We don't really appreciate the good things that we have in our lives. And we're so used to the great comforts of life that we have in our country and the freedoms and all the things that we really take for granted. We take life for granted as well.
I think so. And I want to be really sympathetic to people who are in difficult situations, because there's a lot of talk these days about toxic positivity, and I don't want to be that person. I don't want to make a judgment about how you deal with the hard things. But I will tell you, I know as it's just a fact of life that if you choose to see things in a positive light and to leave the negative things on the table, the outcomes are just going to be better.
So when the diagnosis came for you, the last thing you really consider in your heart is hope. I think that you think that the world's coming to an end. I just had a relationship go bad, or whatever the problems are in your life, and then now cancer. You've got to think to yourself, how am I going to get out of this? The last thing you're thinking of is hope and gratitude.
Oh, absolutely. And I had to be nudged to it. My dad would call almost daily, and he would say, "Tell me the good things that happened today." And I would say, "Are you kidding? You don't know these terrible things my gut's doing to me," because I had colon cancer, and all of which was a surprise. I thought I was the healthiest person in the room. But he would say, "Well, wait a second. I know there's one thing." And sometimes in the book, I talk about it. I kept a red notebook, and sometimes I would write down, "I'm really grateful for Ambien so that I can sleep. I'm really grateful that, my daughter hauled me to the doctor so that I could get this chemo treatment." But every day there was a thing that he made me notice that I was grateful for. And I came crying and kicking and screaming to the idea of being grateful.
What did that do to your outlook? How did that change your life? Really, you had to do like an about face almost.
Every time, absolutely. And And I started training myself to wake up in the morning grudgingly saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, because Anne Lamott, who's my favorite author, said that's one of the best prayers. That's one of the best gratitude practices. And I didn't like it, but I did find over time that it made a big difference to have a mindset that there is hope and there is something that I can name every day that I'm grateful for. It's really simple, but it is a practice that I had to do every single day. And I still have to do it.
Well, I think that's, as I got that from the book, that in every page there is a solution somewhere for something that happens to us. And look, stuff happens to us every single day. And so if you don't wake up in the morning thinking this is going to be a great day, you've already started with a negative thought, and that's going to hurt you.
Absolutely. And if, we all get to choose the way that we see everything. And some of this sounds so cliche, but it is cliche. I mean, cliches are cliches because they're mostly true.
Because they're common, yes.
And yes. It's just common sense that if my day, and I'll give you an example. Over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've had, my dad is really ill and he's gone into hospice, and we're facing a lot of things as a family. I've had a new health issue show up that is minor. And yet I put that practice away for a few days, and I didn't wake up saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I can just tell you that when I remember to begin again, and when I remember to start taking notes again about the 1 or the 2 or the 6 things that I was grateful for, it didn't necessarily change the situation, but it really changed me. And in order to have hope, you got to change your mindset.
Yeah. Well, I'm grateful for you and for having written this book. Bunny Terry, the book is called Life-Saving Gratitude, How Gratitude Helped Me Beat Stage 4 Cancer. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I wish you well and good health, and your father as well. I wish him well also. It's so nice to talk with you.
You too. Thanks so much.